In this video, we are going to add or subtract algebraic fractions. First of all, let's focus on adding. Let's say we have A over C, and we have to add B over C to the first fraction. In this case, not difficult because both fractions are on the same denominator, so it's just A plus B over C. So an example, 2 over 3 plus 1 over 3, that is basically 2 plus 1 over 3, which is equal to 3 over 3, and in this case it's equal to 1. It's not always like that. The denominators are the same. It's not always the same. For example, if you have A over C plus B over D, in this case we have different denominator. So what do we have to do? We have to put it on the same denominator. So we multiply this by D and divide this by D, and here we multiply it by C and divide this by C, so such that we have CD in the denominator. Then we have a common denominator, CD. Here we have AD, plus here we have BC. An example. Let's say we have 3 over 2 plus 7 over 3. In this case, we have a 2 here and a 3 can go to the same denominator by multiplying the first fraction by 3 over 3 and the second fraction by 2 over 2. In that case, we get 3 times 3, which is 9, plus 7 times 2, which is 14, over 3 times 2, which is 6. 9 plus 14 is 23 over 6. Subtracting is very similar. Instead of doing plus, we do minus. So we have A over C minus B over C. In this case, we have the same denominator. Then it's not difficult. It's A minus B over C. An example. Let's say we have 3 over 2 minus 1 over 2. We have the same denominator, so we can put it on the same denominator. So on 2, it's 3 minus 1 over 2, which is 2 over 2. And in this case, it's equal to 1. But let's say it's not on the same denominator. So it's A over C minus B over D. In this case, we have to put it on the same denominator. So we multiply this by D and divide this by D. And here we multiply by C and divide by C. In this case, it's equal to AD minus BC. And it's on the same denominator, namely on CD. An example. Let's say 7 over 2 minus 4 over 3. This is not on the same denominator, so let's put it on the same denominator. We can do that by multiplying the first one by 3 over 3, and the second one by 2 over 2. In this case, the first one becomes 3 times 7, which is 21, over 3 times 2, which is 6. And here we have 3 times 2 as well, so it's on the same denominator, and that's also what we want. 4 times 2 is an 8, so it's 21 minus 8, which is equal to 13. And we still have to divide that by 6, so 13 over 6. Okay, let's go to example 12. Those examples, we did not work with x or y, but now we are going to work with unknowns, variables. The first one, we have x over 2 plus 3x over 4. It's not on the same denominator. Let's put it on the same denominator. We can do that by multiplying the first one by 2 over 2, and then it's equal to 2x over 4 plus 3x over 4. It's on the same denominator. It's basically 2x plus 3x over the 4, which is 5x over 4. And then b, we have a over 3 minus 2a over 5. Have to put that on the same denominator. We can do that by multiplying the first one by 5 times 5 and the second one with 3 over 3. So that becomes, the first one here we have 5a over 15 minus here 6a over 15. So that is 5a minus 6a over 15. We can put that on the same denominator, and that is minus a over 15. Let's go to example 13. We have 4 over a plus 3 b. We put it on the same denominator by multiplying the first one with b over b and the second one with a over a. So then we get 4b over ab plus 3a over ab. It's on the same denominator, so let's put it under one fraction. Then we get 4b plus 3a. Let's go to b. Here we have 5 over x minus 4 over 3x. We have to put that on the same denominator. We can do that by multiplying the first one with 3 over 3. Then we get there 3 times 5, which is 15 over 3x minus 4 over 3x. We put that on the same denominator. It's already on the same denominator, but we write that under one fraction. Then it is 15 minus 4 over 3x, which is 11 over 3x. Okay. Let's go to example 40. We have b over 3 plus 1. In this case, I have a 1 here. 1 is actually 1 over 1. Okay. I have to put that on the same denominator, again the same method. We just have to multiply, in this case, the second one by 3 and divide it by 3. So we get b over 3 plus 3 over 3, which is b plus 3 over 3. And then b, we have a over 4 minus a. A is actually over 1. Multiply this by 4, divide that by 4, and we get a over 4 minus 4a over 4. And then we put that on the same denominator, the 4, and here we have a minus 4a, and it is minus 3a over 4. Okay. Let's go to example 15. We have x over 6 plus x minus 2 over 3. We have to write it as a single fraction. We can do that by going to the same denominator. We have to multiply this by 2 and divide it by 2. Then we go to the denominator 6. So we have x over 6 plus, 3 times 2 is also 6, and I have 2 in brackets x minus 2. Write that under one fraction, namely x plus 2 times x minus 2. Let's expand the numerator. X plus 2x minus 4. You don't have to expand it, but it's better to expand it and simplify it. And then it is equal to 3x minus 4 over 6. Let's go to b. X plus 1 over 2 minus x minus 2 over 3. We have to go to the same denominator to be able to write it as a single fraction. Multiply the first one by 3 with 3 over 3, the second one with 2 over 2. The first fraction becomes 3 times x plus 1 over 3 times 2, which is 6. The second one becomes 2 times x minus 2 over 3 times 2, which is 6. That becomes, we can write that under one fraction, 3 times x plus 1 minus 2 times x minus 2 over 6. Okay. Then 3x plus 3, we expand the numerator, minus 2x, minus minus, be careful, becomes plus 4 over 6. So that is equal to 3x minus 2x, which is x, 3 plus 4, which is 7, so plus 7 over 6. Okay, let's go to example 16. 1 over x plus 2 over x minus 1. We have to write it under as a single fraction. So we have to go to the same denominator. We can go to the same denominator by multiplying the first one with x minus 1 over x minus 1 and the second one with x over x. So the first one becomes x minus 1 over x minus 1 times x. The second one becomes 2x over x minus 1 times x. And we can write it under one fraction. Then it is x minus 1 plus 2x over x times x minus 1, x plus 2x, which is 3x. So we have 3x minus 1 over x times x minus 1. And then there we have 2 over x minus 1 minus 3 over x plus 1. We multiply the first one. We have to go to the same denominator again. We can do that by multiplying the first one with x plus 1 over x plus 1, and the second one with x minus 1 over x minus 1. Okay. Here we get x plus 1 times 2, so over x plus 1 times x minus 1. And here minus 3 times x minus 1 over x plus 1 times x minus 1. Okay, x plus 1 times x minus 1. And here we have 2x plus 2. And here we have then minus 3x plus 3. And we can simplify that further. 2x minus 3x, which is just minus x. 2 plus 3, which is just plus 5. X plus 1 times x minus 1. And that's the answer.